Two healthcare facility workers have been arrested after an elderly woman died from the cold. I'm Stephen Reels from Windsor Locks with the latest coming up.
And the former Avon daycare worker accused of sexual abuse is headed to court. The charges against him coming up in a live report.
A deadly domestic violence call, a police shooting, now the suspect is dead. And Valerie Moravi in Meriden. And coming up, neighbors describe moments they realized the street had become a crime scene.
We begin with a weather impact alert this morning for a chance of storms this afternoon. And we thank you for joining us here on Fox 61 on this Tuesday. I'm Bridget Piorlo.
At America areas, keep your umbrella handy if you're heading out. We're setting things outside with Rachel Piscatelli. Rachel, good morning.
Now, let's go outside to the New England Patio and Hearth Outdoor Studio.
Good morning. Not seeing any weather issues this morning. A touch more humidity than what we had yesterday as temperatures are in the low 60s across the state, and we have a mostly cloudy sky here right now over in Hartford. Now, as we head through the afternoon and into the evening, that's when we are tracking the showers and storms that are likely. It's just depending on how strong these storms do get. So the opportunity is there this afternoon. Some locally heavy rain at times after about noontime or so. Right now, there is a cluster of showers and thunderstorms just over Pennsylvania that we're watching. It may hold together, and that's going to bring us our first opportunity for those stronger storms later on today. And then that opportunity is there through about 11 o'clock. It's not going to be raining that whole time, but any thunderstorms that develop do have the opportunity to become on the severe side. And the primary threat would be wind damage, but also with those locally heavy downpours, there could be a threat for isolated flash flooding issues, overwhelming our storm drains and things like that for a period of time. So looking at the day planner for today, it's cloudy this morning. Otherwise, breezy conditions for the afternoon as our temperatures move into the upper 70s. It's going to be very muggy this afternoon as well, and that's going to allow for those tropical-like downpours to develop later on this afternoon and into the evening. So again, that primary threat going to be wind and flooding, but the secondary, we can't rule out any rotation in any of those storms, so that's certainly something that bears watching. There's a better opportunity for severe weather for the second half of the day. Temperatures out the door this morning, 60s to near 70 in spots. Also looking at the mid 50s in the quiet corner now. Temperatures get up into the upper 70s. We have another opportunity for some showers and storms with higher humidity building in for Wednesday. Wednesday temperatures top out in the mid 80s, but a beautiful day on tap for the back half of our work week. We'll have more details on that coming up in just a bit. As we check in with the roads this morning here at about 6:02, most of the road work across the state has wrapped up here for the morning commute. Not seeing any significant delays now across the state, so that's certainly some good news here. And as we take a look at various locations across the state, of this loads for me. Meriden 91, both directions there. That looks all right. We did have that earlier road work that is cleared. Newtown 84 east and westbound looking good out by exit 9 and 10. No delays through the rest stop in Brantford. Over to you.
Rachel, thanks. 6:03 now. 2 arrests have been made in the death of Margaret Healy, the 93-year-old woman who died back in February after she left the Bickford healthcare facility. Fox 61's Stephen Reels has been on the story since the very beginning and has more on what we can expect to hear from Windsor Locks police today. It's been a bit since we heard an update on this case, but one step closer to justice for that family, Stephen.
Exactly, Bridget. And we learned that actually these arrests were from two of the employees who used to work at the healthcare facility you see behind me. Now, we do know that this all traces back to February, but today, several months later, we are expecting to hear more about the arrest warrants, which we'll go into detail about what led up to these arrests. We're expecting to see the photos of these two who were arrested, and we're expecting to hear from lead investigators about what actually went down. So let's get up to speed with what exactly happened back in February. So far, we know that Healy herself appeared to have left the healthcare facility around 2 a.m. back in February, and this was through a door that did not have its WonderGuard security set up. Instead, it seemed to be propped open and had a code printed nearby. And Healy was found 3 hours later in the cold, unresponsive, but with a pulse, but was pronounced dead a few hours later around 6:45 in the morning, later determined to be because of hypothermia. Again, the press conference we're expecting to hear from Windsor Locks Police a little later on today around 10 a.m. So you're going to want to stay tuned on air, online, as we keep an eye on that press conference to keep you updated as we learn more. But for now, live in Windsor Locks, Stephen Reels, Fox 61.
All right, Steph, thanks so much for the update. Certainly looking forward to more information there on that case. Well, meantime, at 6:05, the former Avon daycare worker accused of sexually assaulting several children on the job is set to face a judge. Allegations against the former caregiver began this past March. We're checking in with Fox 61's Erin Coogan. She's live from Avon with more on the charges against this person and also what's expected ahead. Erin, good morning.
Yeah, Erica, good morning. You can actually still see the playground equipment behind the former Bright Path Avon location. It's since been converted into a liquor store amidst those criminal allegations. And while the first reports of abuse, as you mentioned, nearly a half year ago, we do know new families, new victims have stepped forward as recently as this past year. Now take a look. Arrest warrants and affidavits obtained by Fox 61 alleged 29-year-old Jan Carlos Barrios Otero most recently touched a 4-year-old victim at the Bright Path Avon Child Care Center during nap time. He was an employee at the daycare for several years. The most recent allegations, though, now piling atop similar charges against him. Court documents reveal Barrios Otero is believed to be involved in at least 6 separate incidents at the daycare spanning 5 different underage victims. He now faces numerous sexual assault charges and is expected to enter a plea this morning at the Litchfield Judicial Courthouse in Torrington. We do know at this time Barrios Otero remains behind bars. Of course, as we continue to follow this hearing, we're going to bring you the latest on air and online at fox61.com. We're live in Avon. Erin Coogan, Fox 61.
All right, Erin, thanks very much for the update there. We appreciate it. And today, a hearing is expected for a former Hartford police officer charged in a shooting death of a man that happened back in February. Joseph Magnano has been charged with manslaughter in the deadly shooting of Stephen Jones. This happened on Blue Hills Avenue. The charges came after an inspector general's report found that Magnano's use of deadly force was not justified.
A man shot by a Meriden police officer during a deadly domestic violence incident has died. We brought this to you as breaking news yesterday. Fox 61's Valerie Moravi has the latest on the investigation and how neighbors are responding.
Yeah, neighbors we spoke with say this was a terrifying moment, especially, they say, after hearing shots being fired and seeing the body laying on the ground.
It's sad and, horrible when you really look at it, you know?
That was one of the reactions from neighbors Monday night after learning a man who police shot Sunday died one day later. Officers were called to Sagamore Road Sunday morning. They say they found the man hitting a person on the head with a baseball bat, who later died. That's when an officer shot the man with the bat. The violence surrounding the incident has left many neighbors in shock. Yuri Laura Murphy-Prue describes the moment when first responders arrived.
I heard something going on in the neighborhood, and it was B Street. I heard an ambulance going down. Going up to the Berlin Turnpike, I heard a fire truck, and I was like, what's going on here?
And at first I thought it was going to be this house right here, and then he went by there, so I realized at that point something's different. This is probably not just an ordinary somebody sick, that kind of thing.
Another neighbor, Keith Middlesworth, says it was shocking to see the body laying on the ground.
During the investigation part, we kind of stood right in this area, and we could see that there was somebody or a body on the grass that they had covered with a sheet, so we kind of figured there was at least one fatality.
Meriden Mayor Kevin Scarpati said in a statement Monday afternoon that he extends his deepest condolences to the victim's family and loved ones during this difficult time.
I'm hoping that they can pick up everything and try to work everything out the best that they can. I know it's going to be hard and tough, but keep strong and stay strong.
Now, the Office of Inspector General says they will release the preliminary status report regarding the use of force as the domestic violence incident remains under investigation. In Meriden, Valerie Moravi, Fox 61.
West Haven police arrested a man after they say another man was stabbed to death in an apartment. Now, this happened just before 5:30 Sunday evening on Meadowbrook Court. Police said a 911 caller told them that the suspect stayed inside the apartment after the stabbing. Officials haven't released any names yet and also haven't said what charges the man is facing, but they did say that this was a case of family violence.
And while you were sleeping, the U.S. completed more strikes against Iran Monday night, according to U.S. Central Command. The move came hours after President Donald Trump warned that Tehran would pay for the deaths of 3 service members over the past few days. Iranian state TV reported explosions in several locations. The Pentagon says nearly 100 U.S. service members have been hurt since July 7th. Iran has stepped up attacks on Kuwait, Bahrain, and Jordan recently, all of which host the U.S. military. Meantime, the Pentagon has identified 2 U.S. soldiers who were killed in an Iranian strike on a U.S. military base in Jordan over the weekend. 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler Fehan of Georgia and 19-year-old Private Isabella Gonzalez of Texas died after Friday's attack. It marks the first American deaths from Iranian attacks since March. Officials say a 3rd service member was also killed over the weekend in northern Iraq. They have not yet been identified.
Overnight, Iranian forces attacked a tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. The Associated Press is reporting the crew abandoned the ship. However, it's not clear if anyone was hurt or killed. Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard claimed the attack, along with 2 other attacks on ships yesterday in the Strait of Hormuz. And we've learned that the Interior Minister for Iran arrived in Pakistan yesterday for peace talks. He's set to meet with Pakistan's Prime Minister and Army Chief for 2 days of talks. Now, the visit comes as Pakistan intensifies its diplomatic efforts amid a growing exchange of retaliatory strikes between the U.S. and Iran. On Sunday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the U.S. is still open to negotiations with Iran.